Via Solo Flawless Prophecy during the Rite of the 9 event on Eternity difficulty. Let's go over what you need and what the modifiers are. The main modifier you need to think about in this is haste. Not that it's difficult, but you need to understand exactly how haste works. I'll explain it in the run. It's to do with health regen. But you can use haste to your advantage in this run. Randomized Banes, Elite, Geyser, Shielded Foes, etc. Not too much to think about on the mod front apart from haste. So let's go over what you can get. First and foremost, if you're solo flossing on Eternity, you will still get Prophetic Visionary. If you're a player that has not solo flawless prophecy and you do it this week, on Eternity mode you will get the emblem. But if you do it on Explorer mode you will not. But you can get it on Eternity mode. So that's what the emblem looks like. One of the best emblems in the game. If not maybe the best looking emblem in the game, to be honest. It might be. It's close, isn't it? But there is solo exclusive loot from Prophecy. Here are the 2 items. Hairball Shell, very rare ghost. It's linked to Solo Flawless only. You need to Solo Flawless Prophecy to get it. And of 10 Suns, Exotic Sparrow. That's what that is, and it's Solo Flawless loot that is. Now I'm not 100% you can get those items from Eternity, but I would say that you should. If it's the case that you can't, then you need to Solo Flawless normal. I don't know 100% if you can get the Hairball Shell. I would imagine that you should, because it's linked to the emblem, surely. But anyways, let's go over what you need. First and foremost, the opening section you want to put on Salvation's Grip. You can do Sword if you want with Eager Edge, but I prefer Salvation's Grip for the skip. This will skip the opening section. Salvation's Grip, I highly recommend it because it's easy and it's fun, and I just like doing Salvation's Grip skip, so that's what I'll be doing. Then we get to the first boss, Echo Phalanx. Concentrate on build 9 and 10, look at it. This is what we're going to be using. Now, you want to set up to easy solo 1 cycle the boss on Eternity, which is actually a tight damage window. I have tested Nobel, Winterbite, Banner of Wartime. I have tested Legend of Acris. I have tested Lord of Wolves. And out of all those loadouts, this one's better than those by actually quite a good margin. This build would easily solo 1 cycle the Phalanx with errors. Even if you make errors, you should still solo 1 cycle. This build is the way to go. Now this is why it works. Is because Psycho Pump and Temptation's Hook are seasonal weapons. They can equip Power of Ambition. Power of Ambition adds Blight rounds. It is a lingering effect. This will increase ball charge stack damage. You will get more ball charges discharged on an Arctitan if you run Power of Ambition Psycho Pump. Any roll is favourable to you. I like Frenzy. Use what you want, but this Frenzy roll was cooking him. Now finally, Temptation's Hook. If you haven't got it, if you've got the old one, it's no good, people. You need the new one to insert the mod slot. Go to Eris's flat and go and hand in some tokens to get this weapon. This with Power of Ambition adds Blight rounds to your caster frame sword, and it will increase your damage massively. This weapon is probably one of the best weapons against the first boss. It's incredibly powerful. So if you haven't got it, stop what you're doing and go and get it, because there isn't a replacement right now that's as good as this because of Power of Ambition. Other caster frame swords cannot equip Power of Ambition. You're not going to get the same effect. Don't kid yourself. Just go and get Temptation's Hook, then come back and keep watching the video. Whirlwind Blade is the minimum requirement because Power of Ambition will increase Whirlwind Blade stacks quicker. Alright, and then we're going to use Witherhoard for extra damage because it's got all on also, so we're doing this damage rotation between these 3 weapons. We're going to surge switch from build 9 to 10 with triple arc weapon surge, 22% buff. In order to do that, you just use Healthy Finisher on the class item. You have an arc siphon on or some siphon on to get orbs of power. You then boom, swap, and you get triple arc weapon surge, 22% buff to these 2 weapons. I'm using Curious the Fallen Star with T-Crash. Yeah, let's run through this quickly. Rally Barricade, Thunderclap, Pulse Grenade, Storm's Keep, Knockout, Spark of Shock, Resistance and Frequency. Spark of Focus is on for the final boss, and I didn't feel like swapping it off. Anyways, this is a very good fragment for the final boss, Calico. It's good in general, to be honest. It's actually a rather good fragment, but I've got it on for a use case at the final boss. It's not on for the first boss, but it was on anyways. Don't worry about it too much. That's first boss explained. Then we go to Desert. Let's look. No, that's not Desert loadout. Desert Wasteland loadout is this. Fawn, Psycho Pump, Temptation's Hook. That's what I'm using. Works just fine. Same things. Curious Fallen Star, same stuff. Same things. When we get to the cube room, we're going to run T-Lord, Psycho Pump, and a Rocket Sidearm. Because Rocket Sidearms are very good in there. Psycho Pump's already good in there. T-Lord is very good for cube room. So that's what I used. Then we get to the final boss. 11 and 12 loadouts. This is what I'm using. Tina's, Le Monarch, Edge Transit. It's a very consistent way of easily DPSing Calico. There are better ways than what I did. But what I will tell you is, this Le Monarch damage rotation competes with Queenbreaker rotation. It even competes with Sleeper. So there's no point to do Queenbreaker rotation if an exotic primary will compete with it, or even if do better. If I had ran Peacekeepers with Barrow Dyad, I would have actually been able to two-phase. But I figured, you know what, let's go for more of a reserved strat so that people can emulate it. And this strat's really good for ammo purposes and just all round fantastic, because Calico has had some major changes to it. So that's what I'm recommending. Same everything, same fragments, same super, same exotic. It's all the same stuff, but with slightly different reloaders and different surges and stuff like that. Artifact mods, these are what I ran. One thing is I had no bell on, and that was because I was testing Banner of War Winterbite Glaive on Phalanx, and I forgot to take this off. It doesn't matter. What I would say is put on Go from Lead. Put on Go from Lead. That's going to actually be nice for you in this run. All the usual stuff. Volatile Marksman, Dielectric, Maligned Harvest, Flashover, Defib Blast and Limit Break. All the usual things. That was the build information on this. On with the run. Okay, so on with the run. So let's show you the skip for the opening section. Like I say, there's other ways of doing this. I like Salvation's Grip. That's just what I've always done for a long time. So I'll show you how to do it. Step on the ball, make a Salvation's Grip at the base, and then just do it a couple of foot above you. Don't do it too high, because you won't make the jump. So just do it a couple of foot above you like that. Jump on the initial crystal and then jump up again. Look at this. It's what could be more easier than this? No need to do swords. I've done all the skips in the past. Obviously, Prophecy's been out a hell of a long time, and I've been playing, all that time and some. So I've done all the skips, and to be honest with you, Salvation's Grip is the chillest way of skipping. You don't need to be swording up that tube. You're creating yourself a load of work. Check where Toland is. The first mechanic is check where Toland is. Toland is bottom left white. So what I'm going to do is focus white, of course. Now I'll use a pulse grenade on the first night, then a bit of thunderclap, and then we get my motes straight away. You want to get these as quickly as you can. Then after that, you can do any that you want. You can do dark, light, whatever. Now, this build's really strong in terms of just ignoring ads. Like, you get weak, just get a melee kill. Yeah, you can Wither Horde Knights, you can strategize for dark and light. Very easy, look at this. Psycho Pump will make short work of these Scions. Now, I went for a dark there. Remember, there's a wave of Scions for every dunk that you get. So, that's what I'm just doing. Now, I'm going to try and do light last. Reason being is because I want to try and get amplified easier before DPS. Let's see exactly how that plays out, because this is my first time watching it back. If you get bumped off the map, use your sword to swipe back on. So I'm going for a dark here. So obviously go in the shade, that's the mechanic. I mean, we're talking less about mechanics in this run and more about placement and what we're doing and DPS. That's what this video is more about. It should be understood that you already understand the base mechanics. This isn't a video about base mechanics. I've already done the base mechanic video 4 days ago. So if you need a base mechanic video, that's 4 days ago. Go and check it. This video is for people who want to solve Flawless Eternity and need extra tips on combat. It's not mechanics. It's more the combat and the positioning and the tips. So what I need to do here is try and get amplified with a melee. Get my 5 motes, because you're 15-second time on amplified, and do a search switch. Look, that will proc limit break. I do my search switch behind cover. I jump up top on a top dunk. Always save a top dunk for last. With a horde, pulse grenade, super. That procs limit break. Then you whip out the sword, then a barricade. Then what you're going to do is some light swings, some psycho pump damage, and you're going to stand behind your barricade to get the bolts. Look at the damage we're doing. Look at the damage. The first set of ads aren't even out yet. So that damage is passable. Like more than passable, shall I say. I'm underselling my DPS here. Okay, yeah, we just keep doing with a horde. We keep doing psycho pump and keep barricading. If the ads make the boss immune, then kill those ads with the sword. Now look away, children. Look away, children. I didn't miss that T crash. Look away, children. I didn't miss it. Look at that, though. We solo one cycle this boss and didn't hit our second T crash. Which, that's crazy. That just goes to show how damn easy it is to solo one cycle this boss. Imagine if I had hit the second T crash, he would be dead well before he goes immune. It's a 45-second timer, I believe, you get on him. That's the solo one cycle for the phalanx. Don't mention the T crash miss. Not bothered. Look, this is the wasteland. Now I'm going to speed up the time frame a little bit, just for editing purposes, and also just to explain that, look, this is really easy. You need to kill 3 blights. Temptation's hook makes this, no joke, very easy. You just run around the map with haste. So haste will give you health regen slowly. This will mean that you don't need to kill snipers or nothing. I mean, for players who are worried about snipers, just kill them. If you're really worried about snipers, just kill them. And you can use fawn as well to destroy the blights, but you don't even need to do that. Because if you're stationary, haste is going to be a nuisance to you. Now I'm on the 3rd set of blights already. There we go. Look at how quick that was. I know I sped the footage up, but it's really, look at how easy that is. It one-shots the blights. Then clear out all the ads in that final area. Then set the orb off. Then Paracausal Invader boss will spawn in. Now, this is the craziest time that I had with the Wasteland. I have been doing a bit of prophecy this week, and I've never seen this happen to me once. The boss should spawn on my location, and he hasn't. This is crazy. I don't know if it's because I went too quick with the blights, but look, the boss is darker in colour. He's in the middle of the map. What is he doing? Alright, that's fine. Oh, and then I pop a barricade and then he disappears. Yeah, dudes, I don't know what's going on in this run because this has not happened to me not once. How this is meant to work is Paracausal Invader is meant to spawn at the last set of blights. But I don't know what's going on with him because I've not seen his dude. Look, and then he TPs again. And I'm like, oh, I'm finally good. Then he TPs again. He's wandering the street. I'm mad now because he's messing my damn run up. Yeah? I'm actually like, I'm having to wander the streets because of him. I'm out after midnight. You can see it's dark out. We're in some sort of desert. And now he's making me miss my second T crash of the run. This dude did troll me. He really did. And I don't know why he done it. I don't know why he TP. I have not seen him do this on Lucky TPs again. That's absolute ridiculous. He hasn't even done this on Ultimatum, so I don't know why exactly. But to be honest with you, I'm not going to redo the run because of this. Because it's no big deal to the run. It's still, 30-minute clear. Makes no odds. 5 minutes extra. Yeah, people watching this aren't going to be bothered if it runs 5 minutes extra, because we're not speedrunning anyways. In any case, like I say, the boss just played up. This should be way easier. You just pop a barricade and you just DPS him. So yeah, I also waste my T-Crash, so... But that's how you do the Wasteland. The Wasteland's really easy. It's just, as I say, we had some unfortunate unlucky. He starts to behave now, this boss. But yeah, that's the idea, is you just fawn him, damage over time, Psycho Pump, Sword, T-Crash, and then that's just basically what you do with him. His health's buggy as well. Let's have a look at his health here. See what it does. He just falls over. Look at his health. It's 20%. And then he goes to 0. The game's not tracking his health properly. Did you see that? And I've noticed that a bit in this encounter. Is the encounter doesn't seem to be able to manage this boss's HP properly. Whether it's the ball charges bugging out the HP indicator, maybe. But anyways, getting past what just happened there, you will then go to the exit, which there are, I think there's 3 exits. I can't mind if it's 3 or 2. I think it's 3, isn't it? But the exit with the orb is the way to go. There's obviously a chest there with loot. My loot's not the concern right now. I'm doing a run. I'll look at my loot later on. Okay, cube room loadout. Biggest takeaway from this is put void resist on. In actual fact, probably put 2 void resist on. Because the snipers are the... If there's any chances of risk in this run, it's the snipers killing you. I wholeheartedly believe it's the snipers that would kill you. The knight would maybe kill you for players who are maybe less mobile, because there's extra mechanics in this. Right, look up Toland. Toland, look below Toland, it's dark. Toland, follow the orb. Look below Toland, it's dark. I need to kill a knight in dark. I need to kill 2 knights in the dark zones. So I get my same motes. I get my motes. Now, when you kill the knight snipers, you get 2 knights. Killing the 2 knights will then spawn in another 2 snipers. When you are running around the map, those snipers may tag you. That's where void resist comes in a little bit. Because if there's anything that's going to kill you, it's when you're running around and the snipers are sniping you. However, haste makes you kind of OP and you get health regen on movement. So like I say, the more mobile you are, the better you are in this encounter because of haste. That is exclusive to this week. The mod may be different next week. Well, it will be different. I don't know what mod it'll be next week. Could be attrition. Although attrition's on ultimatum, so I don't know the situation. Look at this. Look at how haste is keeping me alive. But I did get pretty weak off those snipers there, to be fair. Not rocking a void resist will get you killed in this room. I reckon so. Especially on ultimatum. But we're talking eternity here. Same thing, routine. Look where Toland is. Look at what you need, dark or light. Then kill snipers immediately with the rocket sidearm. Then look for knights. And like I say, remember, was it dark? Was it light? Now I killed a knight there, and he was light, so I wasn't standing exact. That's fine. What you need to do when that happens is kill another sniper. Just one though. You don't need to kill both. Just one. For every sniper killed, you get a knight. Now, if you get Drain Banes, that could be a slight issue to people, so just be careful of that. Also, the Knight, just be careful with him. You need to stay more mobile and keep a bit of an eye on him, for sure. Now, I get a bad room there, to be honest. It's a Drain Bane sniper. So, yeah, that room was a bit hairy, but it's not too bad. We're counting on haste healing us. But yeah, just go to the middle of the room and then just keep doing this. But the quicker you are at killing your snipers, the better you are at managing the room. Like right here, I'm missing the second sniper. So I'm looking up, I'm like, where is he? And then while that happens, I nearly die. Well, I mean, that knight was up on me pretty close. Now you can go up top as well like this. I didn't utilise much top gameplay. I mean, on ultimatum, it matters more to stand up top. So definitely get used to that if you need to. because the Knight can't get you up top. So if you want to do a bit more of that gameplay, you can. I didn't do much of it, just because I'm comfortable with Prophecy. I don't need to go up top, not on this difficulty at least. On Ultimatum, maybe I would need to go up top. But yeah, you can see how haste is playing a big role in this room, in terms of just survivability and then just managing your health. I think this might be my final room. So yeah, I need to get the 2 snipers. We use a bit of T-Lord. Get on the move as soon as that second sniper's killed. Be on the move to get your health back. We get a Hypernova Bane. That's fine. They're weaker in this mode. They're not like GM Banes. If you get Banes in this, they're not the equivalent of a GM Bane. They're quite different. You can one-shot them with a lot of weapons. Like quicker. They haven't got as much health, so they're not too much of a problem. Always remind yourself on where that final dunk is. Like, that's a good example there of haste plus void resist out tanking the damage. So it's not too bad. So I believe I'm on the final section. Yeah, we are. So for boss damage, I like to stand up top. Just stand up here. Stand up top, just hang fire a second, wait for the phalanxes to come to you, get a barricade down, and then just melt them with T-Lord. Just melt your 2 phalanxes, don't do any boss damage yet, because the boss is the Knight. But you're going to T-crash the Knight, you may as well. So yeah, we've got the first one, we'll do a bit of Jolt, a bit of Psycho Pump. And yeah, it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy just to DPS these phalanxes. This is the easiest part of the run, I would say. Very easy, to be honest. I find it quite odd they've added this Knight to Prophecy, because he's not a taken enemy. I guess he's an invader. I understand that, but it does still feel quite odd that they've added it to the cube room, because it was obviously in the original iteration. There was no Knight like that. Okay, cube room done. Easy enough. Now we're coming on to the Rainbow Road stuff. Now, if you know how to Sparrow Fly, you can Sparrow Fly and skip. Although it's quite difficult, you are timed. And if you are really aiming for solo flawless, I don't recommend you do Sparrow Fly, because chances are, if you're in 2025, looking for videos on how to solo forces, chances are you cannot Sparrow Fly. Only veterans Sparrow Fly. It's very, very rare to find a new player to be like, oh, I want to start Sparrow Flying. Like, what's the point? You've got a skimmer. Although Sparrow Flying is much quicker than a skimmer. But I'm not going to show you the Sparrow Fly. I'm just going to show you how to do the encounter, because it's now an encounter. This is how you do it. Realm Collapse, 20 seconds. This is my route. Now, I don't know how many routes there are, but when you pick up the Toland Orb, you get a timer. I like to go left here. There's different routes. I don't know how many routes there are, but I'm not bothering learning all the routes, because I'm just going to use this route. Once I find a route on something, I just use that route. What's the point in doing another route? You know what I'm saying? What's the point? We've learned this route. Yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible to fall off. Look, I'm nearly falling off now. But yeah, you are timed, so there's a little bit of pressure on this one. But it's not too bad. Now we're going to go left for this orb. And then we're going to go down the line. Now, try to dodge in air as well with the skimmer. You could do this with a Sparrow. It'd be a bit more difficult for you, because like what I'm doing here, look. Doing stuff like that with the skimmer beats the Sparrow in terms of, if you were going to do a legit Sparrow run on this, skimmer's easier. Xur sells the skimmers. I don't know if new players can get Xur's Sparrow. I guess they can. I guess even free-to-play players can buy the skimmer from Xur, right? I mean, I have no idea, because I'm not a free-to-play player myself. I never have been. I've always bought every expansion. So if there's one thing, gap in my knowledge, is is what do new players actually get, because half the time I don't know. I don't know what they get and what they don't get. Half the time. I know there's issues with dungeon keys and stuff, but I'm just saying, like, you know, stuff like that, I don't really know what they get and what they can't. But I guess they could buy a Sparrow off Zer, and a free-to-play player could. I don't know. I think so. Okay, this elevator nearly scammed me. Although, yeah, you can skip the final orb, by the way, like you saw me. I got the final orb up top and then skim it all the way down here. You can do that. If you've got less than 16 seconds, don't. On final orb, though. Yep, less than 16 seconds will maybe get you killed. So if you've got probably less than 16, just go the normal route. There's more orbs. Okay, now we're on to the final boss. Okay, so with the final boss, like I said at the start of the video, we're going with more of a conservative loadout to give you a formula on how to DPS the boss safely and to kill all your knights and get safe dunks. If I was to be more risky, I could solo 2-phase, but I'm going for the conservative route of solo 2-phase with a mini phase at the end, basically. So it's a 2 and quarter phase. It's not 3 phase. I mean, slice and dice it how you want. But basically, we're going to do most of our damage on the first 2 phases. Almost 100%. We're going to do about 80% of his health. Then on the final phase, we're just going to quickly kill him. But like I say, if I ran Peacekeepers with Barrow Dyad, I would solo 2-phase. Problem is, it's a bit more harder to pull off for people. And there's a formula to what I'm using. You know, so this room, you want to be prioritising haste quite a lot. Getting your knights, prioritise knights over scions. Mainly knights, but obviously when scions get out of control, alright then, start DPS, start managing scions. For every dunk you get, make sure you get rid of the ogre first with a barricade. You notice Spark of Haste is giving me my class ability quite a lot. Like, even though I'm not fully committing to a barricade, I'm still getting it for the next part because of Spark of Focus. Spark of Focus gives increased class ability regen on running. Spark of Focus is fantastic for Kel Echo, but it's only good for Kel Echo. There's not much use. I mean, there is. I guess there is much use for it, actually. There is a lot of use for it. Now that I think about it, no, it actually is quite useful. Because look at class ability regen. Like, because this dungeon requires a lot of momentum from you. Here we go. Amplified melee. Surge switch. This will give me a limit break. Let's watch the DPS. Surge switch. To void surge. Pulse grenade. Jump over first teleport. T-crash. Melee. To stop the boss from hitting you off map. 3 shots. Tina's. Pick up all motes. All of them. Tina's both snipers left and right. Barricade goes down now. Yeah, you're going to do chip damage to the boss. Just a little bit, no heavy. Follow the formula, trust the process. Both snipers and knight. Kill him quickly. Then jump, because the boss is about to TP. Then you will dunk. This slows down the boss. You get more damage. Look at that. I get my class ability back because of Spark of Focus. Then we do damage from here. This is where you're doing damage from. Doesn't look good so far, but it only gets better. And look at what we've done. I'm killing all these knights dead easy. You kill a knight behind you and the sniper. Boss TPs. Then you go back to your barricade. Look at super energy. Then after that teleport, you come up. GL. The final knight. Get your dunk now. In advance. Then use Tina's on both snipers. Boom. Then you get a barricade on the steps. Barricade on the steps. Now it's DPS time. You're going to DPS him on these final 2 plates. And you've got a T-crash to use. Don't use it yet though. Just keep doing Le Monarch. Now you're going to incorporate a bait and switch edge in transit damage. Although I get caught. I was a little bit... it's fine. I didn't lose much damage because of it. You'll be surprised. Pulse grenade, T-crash right now on that final plate. Right, then you're going to come at the top of the stairs because it's better to DPS from here. Now what you're going to do is edge transit bait and switch DPS. There we go. We're going to do the damage. That's nearly half HP and we got teleported. I mean, it's not quite half HP. It's probably... That's probably a 40% damage phase or slightly above. But look at what we went through to do it. It was easy. There was nothing in that run that was difficult. That is a formula. The only slight thing I got wrong is I got TP'd by the boss because I thought I could jump over it, and I was a bit lazy on that. I should have strafed left. I shouldn't have jumped up. Okay, second room. Now it depends what room you get. I've got light. This particular room has a lot of light in it, so I'm actually pretty good. So I'm going to get that dunk immediately because the kill echoes will kill you pretty quick. The first dunk needs to be prioritized very fast. After that you can chill. Because one area of the room is now free for you to hide if you need. Yeah, like I now I've got space to work with. Now I think it's too dark. This room's hard on dark, so you need to really improvise on your dark kills here in this room. Your room could be different to mine, it depends. It's RNG on what room you get. I think there's 4 rooms. I think it's 4 rooms total. Every ogre you get a barricade down, which you will have because of Spark of Focus. And just melt your ogres. Now back to managing ads and knights again. We need more dark. The ammo check. Look at my ammo. It's really good. Because I'm not really expanding my full edge transit ammo, between phases, like from phase 1 to phase 2, I always have full ammo. I mean, if I do things properly, I should use a bit more ammo than what I did on the first phase. We'll see exactly how it goes. But it's a good structure, this. Always play ahead of the boss, not behind. Now, Bungie has given you more to do. Because you need to get dunks and kill knights. So that's why I've developed this strategy for you. I recommend the players that are trying to solo floors the first time, you need to watch DPS 3-4 times at least. You need to watch it and watch it and watch it, and then you need to go and do it yourself. And then you can understand that, oh, hang on a sec, he's prioritising the knights, not boss damage. And that's exactly what I'm doing. While still nearly solo 2 phasing. If I'd ran Barrow, I had Peacekeepers, it would be a solo 2 phase, but I've chose not to do that. Because it takes a bit of skill, and I don't think people are going to struggle with it. Right, Pulse Nade goes in. T-Crash, I've got no amplified, so I'll lose a bit of damage. But that's alright. Okay, Night Kill. Then you jump to this platform. Tina's both snipers. That's why Tina's is on. Now you barricade after the teleport. Chip damage, do no heavy. Forget about heavy damage, you do it later on. Heavy damage will get you killed. If you overcommit to damage here, you will probably die and you will lose your rhythm. You need rhythm. Get your dunk. Push up. Look at Spark of Focus there, what it done for me. Means I can barricade when I want. From platform to platform. Now we do chip damage. Then Tina's. Get rid of the knight and the sniper. TP. Boss TPs. He always does it. The boss has a structure, so you need to work around him. Then when he does his second TP, you jump and you do 2 GL shots to the knight. You get the dunk. The boss hasn't got a clue what you're doing. You're playing far too efficient for him. There we go, look. 2 snipers are out of the equation. There is 0 chance of death now. Unless if you get TP by the boss, it's unlikely. So do you see my structure? We do more damage at the back end of the phase. My damage is backloaded, not front loaded. Do we understand that? I'm backloading DPS. The advantage to backloading DPS is that the full entire DPS scenario is very safe. The disadvantage is that I have to 3 phase rather than 2 phase, but who cares? Yeah? Because ultimately it's a video for people. And I think if somebody's seeking a video on this, chances are they can't two-phase. Because they can't even solo floors to start with, never mind two-phasing. Always take it from the top with people, not from like the end game pursuit of it. Like, you know, somebody who hasn't solo floors, they're looking to two-phase the boss. They're not going to. They would have to be extremely lucky to do that on their first solo floors clear. And you would have to change your loadout to Barrow Dyad and Peacekeepers. Which, some people would like that and some people wouldn't, because some people don't like the gun. I like the gun. I love it. I love Barrow Dyad. I think it's one of the best guns in the game now. I mean, Barrow Dyad is out DPS and Queenbreaker for this boss fight. On a solo DPS basis. That's how strong it is with Peacekeepers. You got to think about that. Think about how strong that is. That's a Luminarchy's competitive damage to Queenbreaker on a solo DPS basis. I've tested it this week. So I was like, what's the point in running Queenbreaker or Sleeper when Luminarch can just compete with the damage? On Arc Titan at least. All of what I'm talking about is relative to Arc Titan. We're not talking Warlock. Do you see a Warlock in this video? I'm not talking Hunter. In actual fact, I think Arc Titan's not that good for this boss fight. I know it might be controversial. I actually think Warlock and Hunter's actually way better for this boss fight. But the Arc Titan is very good for the first boss fight. So you're going to make a decision. I mean, like I say, I was going to do a Warlock run. I might do a Warlock run next week. We'll see. Because Warlock's got access to debuff. Arc Titan has no debuffs. It has Withering Gaze on a special weapon, yeah. So what? That's just a debuff. Whereas what I'm saying is a Warlock Prismatic has a debuff in its kit. It's got Transcendence. Hunters have Transcendence as well. Consecration Titan's no good for this fight. So yeah, I think Arc Titan's okay. You've got to play around it though. Right, T-Crash. Pulse Grenade. Melee the boss. That will stop you from jumping off the map. Kill the knight immediately. Jump to next platform. Kill the two snipers. Then barricade now, because the barricade will do chip damage and kill your next knight. Watch. Sniper. Then the knight. And then move. You need to move right after that door. You can't just sit around. Like I say, for newer players, you need to watch this DPS segment 3 or 4 times to get to the grips with it. But that's the strat I've developed for these knights, because this is a new strat. These are new combatants. The original Prophecy did not have dunks. This is completely brand new. But yeah, look at how easy it is. Like I say, there's no chance here of me dying. Right. Oh, he TPs me. Now there is a chance. That, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, is why you run Seismic Strike. For this fight, don't you be using T-Clap. Look at what just happened there. I nearly lost my run. And I just told you there was no risk of death, and then I nearly did die. So I scammed you a little bit there. I was a bit of a con man there for a minute. But yeah, that's a solo Flawless Prophecy on Eternity during Rite of the 9. Like I said, it's pretty good. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.